Hello, thanks for checking out my video and welcome to my channel, Jersey Shore Pondscapes Videos. My name is Chris, and as usual we talk all about water gardens and koi ponds and waterfalls and pond filtration and water plants and fish and all that kind of stuff. So I have a ton of videos here on this channel. Please check it out. I cover so many different topics and I try to give you as much information as I can to help you guys out with any questions or any problems you may have. So please check it out, subscribe to the channel, take a look around. I've got a ton of stuff here for you. Today's video, we are doing another video on a whole series of pond plants. Today's video is about a plant called Horsetail. So Horsetail is a really cool, pretty unique plant for your pond. It is native to North America, and it is hardy in zones 4 through 9. It's a very hardy plant. In fact, it's even considered to be an evergreen perennial in some parts because it actually can stay green all winter long. It's kind of related to the rush family. It has tall, long, spiky stalks that grow up. They can grow anywhere from 3 to 5 feet tall. And it has, what's really unique is it has this segmented stems going up. It doesn't flower. It's not known for any kind of flower. It's just its unique stems, foliage, so to speak. Okay, very cool plant. Now, the hardest part about growing this plant is keeping it contained. All right, it's easy to grow. It'll grow, you know, in the pond, in water. It'll grow in your perennial bed. It'll grow, you know, anywhere that it has a decent water supply. Okay, it does like the water. But man, this thing can take over. All right, I have several pictures up here I'm going to put out of a client's property. They have some horsetail growing in the ground, you know, around their pond. But she also probably at some point put a couple, you know, plants into her perennial bed, and it took over, as you can see here. All right, this stuff is incredibly invasive. All right, cool plant, very easy to grow, very fast growing, but very, very invasive. All right, so, you know, like I said, the little joke is, you know, the hardest part about growing this plant is keeping it contained. So use caution. Okay, like so many other water plants, okay, they can spread like crazy. All right, so make sure we have this in a nice big pot. Give it some room to grow. You know, don't just put it in a little container. You know, when you buy these plants from your garden center or nursery or pond supply store or whatever, they usually come in a little small, you know, pot. Keep in mind, like I said, these things can grow 3 to 5 feet tall. So if you have a, you know, let's take an average. Let's take 4-foot plant, all right, in a little pot in your pond. When that wind blows, it's gonna go right over. All right, give it a nice big pot. Now, being that this plant is so invasive, okay, if you put this thing in a whiskey barrel, right, or garbage pail sized pot container, it'll fill it, no problem. All right, and it'll be really nice and sturdy. I mean, I'm not saying you have to put it in a garbage pail, but a nice big pot, whatever size pot you put it in, it'll fill it, and the bigger the pot, the sturdier it will be, and it won't blow over. Now, when I plant these plants, this is considered a marginal plant or a bog plant, okay? So they don't want to go, you know, 3 foot down in the middle of your pond. You're going to keep this up on a shelf or on the side of your pond in shallower water. For me, whenever I put plants in on a, you know, around the edge of a pond on a shelf, I like to keep it so that the top of the pot is only about 1 inch or so underwater. All right, because I don't want my fish, especially koi, getting into these plants. All right, so if you only have, you know, an inch of water on top of your pot, all right, the fish aren't as likely to get up in there and tear it apart. If you have the plant, you know, 6-8 inches underwater, fish are going to get in there, especially the koi, right? They're going to want to dig in the gravel. And also make sure you have nice big gravel in your pots, right? Not the little pebble pea gravel, because larger fish will knock it out and they'll be all over your pond. And then the dirt comes out of the pot, and then the plant comes out of the pot, okay? So especially larger koi, when they're laying their eggs, okay, they will get into these plants and rip them apart, tear them to pieces, okay? So it's just make it a little harder for them to do that and keep these plants up, you know, higher on your shelf and just under the water. I would even say leave the pot just an inch out of the water, but you don't want to see the pot, right? So if it's just under, it's under the water surface and it's not, you know, as visible. Yeah, so definitely keep them contained. Now, if you have a pond that's all full of rock and gravel, okay, and you normally want to plant your plants right into that rock and gravel on this, you know, side of your pond someplace, be careful, all right? Because you may end up with a whole pond full of horsetail before you know it. All right. Many aquatic plants are the same way. All right. So you really need to be careful when you're planting things directly into your pond like that. I've had way too many jobs where I got to drain and clean a pond, and I'm ripping cattails, pickerel rush, irises. I mean, all kinds of stuff out from the entire pond. All right, so be careful, always try to keep them contained. But this is a really nice looking plant to maybe put up against like a cluster of boulders or a cluster of, you know, larger rock on the side of the pond, and have this stuff coming out from the middle of it or on the side of it or something. Really neat plant. Okay, so yeah, I think that pretty much gives you a good idea. Now, as far as I said, you know, it is considered some places an evergreen perennial. Around here in New Jersey, I have cut them back in the end of the fall. And next spring they just come back up again. So I just like to keep everything clean and cut back, and, you know, I don't want stuff dying. Or what tends to happen too is when you have a heavy snow, the snow can weigh these stalks down and break them, and they fall into the water. So I just cut everything back. But that's up to you. If you want to try, you know, leaving it for the winter, see what happens. If it starts to fall over and become a mess, then just cut it back. Don't worry, it will grow again. All right. Great plant, like I said. Very invasive, okay, so just be aware of that. And that wraps it up. So I hope I gave you a good little insight on this plant. Really cool, very unique. Can be a conversation piece in your pond, because people are going to say, oh wow, look at that thing, that's a weird looking plant, you know. Definitely. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out all the other videos I have on all the water plants. I have a whole playlist on different plants for the pond, and we're going to continue to add more and more. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll see you again soon in another video. Take care, have a great day. Bye.